All right, cool. Then I'll go ahead and share my screen. And so, welcome everyone. This is our weekly planning meeting that I think this is our third, maybe fourth one now. And we'll be recording this as well so people who aren't able to join can uh, just track with what the latest is, get caught up. And of course, if you have any questions or any input, feel free to shoot a message on the channel here or send a voice message. Or if you want to speak, we're happy to invite you up and chat a bit. And so we'll cover kind of what we did in the past week, what we're looking forward to next. And some of these may be shorter meetings because, of course, tasks take longer than a week at times too. But we want to make sure we're constantly getting community input, being very transparent with where we're going, what we've built so far. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and hop in. So just as a quick thing, let me share my screen real quick. Cool, here we go. So just a quick thing here. We did get some good important fixes in this past week. One of the biggest things, and I think this issue may still be on the itch dev app, or maybe it's just in the open source, but physics was like really badly broken to where you're just falling through the ground constantly. So that should be fixed in the latest. If you just pull the latest on our dev branch, that's there. So that was a big one. And then we also had some small fixes too. For example, working on docs a bit more and for just better installation instructions. We're constantly updating these. The README one is small, but if you go to the docs.themirror.space site, which I'll show you real quick, we are going to be adding more to this as well. One of the biggest things that's been requested is more tutorials. So a lot of that is coming as well. And I also added an architecture document so we got a lot of questions about like, hey, why do we choose MongoDB? Why Mongoose? We got some excitement around possibly using FerretDB if someone wants to work on a driver for that. So that's something that we could look into as well. We'd happily accept contributions, but we'll be focusing on MongoDB for the time being. And also one of our friendly contributors is upgrading DocuSource from 2 to 3 and then adding some foreign language, international, depending on where you are, but adding some Russian translations. And then there's also been requests for some Spanish and Polish translations for our doc site. So that could be coming as well. Fix the Remember Me bug. Also fix that annoying pop-up to where like it tells you you're on the wrong version. That's been a lot of stuff on my end, kind of on a high level. Gordon, how are things going on your end?
So last week I spent mostly the entire week on performance fixes. So we got the join time from 1 minute 30 seconds down to about 30 seconds on one of our larger spaces. So that's a massive improvement. And obviously we spent a lot on CI. So I've been working a lot on getting all of our CI from the closed source repository on the open source repo. And last night I finished almost everything for the open source repo. And we'll get the deployments working again. So we'll actually update the primary app, the Mirror official app on itch soon with all the changes we've made to the open source repository. Which is good because then we can get everything else flowing really easily. In theory, we can also like get fixes into the main app that we make into the open source repo and get them tested a lot easier. And I think yesterday I got about 90% of it working. I just have one step in the build to finish off. And then I just need to make one more configuration file for the official deployments. And then we're done. And then I'm going to get back to the performance fixes because there's a lot of time to save. On Saturday, I was actually doing a bit of research on how to improve the startup time. And I thought of a few solutions, but most of them require refactors to the code to make things more intelligent in the way they're set up. And they're not like small edits. They might be small edits, but they'll change a lot of functionality. So I need to be careful about that. So getting from 30 seconds down to like 5 seconds is going to be challenging, but I believe it should be possible.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's just going to take some time. But yeah, we've got some other work we need to complete first on the back end before we can finish that off. and for one of our private clients first.
Yep. We do some custom development as well, and that keeps us going on the so we can keep on contributing free open source code. So that's what Gordon's referring to there. Cool. Yeah, and then what Gordon's referring to on the reducing the time is the long join time. It's been kind of egregious. I felt kind of when we were like pushing in a ton of features over the past. There's like a block of probably 2 or 3 months. We were throwing in a lot of features without really optimizing. Our join time got pretty long. And that's what you're seeing whenever you're initially trying to join a space and connect. And of course, it's not the best experience. That's something we're working on getting down to roughly 5 seconds. Ideally, instantaneous is the join time there. I was experimenting with PlayStation Dreams a bit yesterday, and they do a great job at that. It's like almost seamless. And that's the same experience you'd get from a web app for the most part. It's like just a few seconds or near zero load time. So that's what we want to aim for as well. But it'll be challenging, but we want to make sure that you have as little friction as possible when you're both making games, when you're playing them, when you're collaborating them, pretty much across the board. So yeah, good stuff. Also some minor stuff in the back end. Go ahead.
I will say we need to do the space object for refactor, or at least part of it, to actually get some of the optimizations in. We need to do a lot of decoupling to actually make the load process faster. So that's probably a week of work, just to let you know, to get to from the 30 seconds down to the 5, because of the way we need to change the initialization in the code. Once that's done, though, it won't give us like the multiple object parenting, but it'll let us do the first part of the space object refactor, which is like reorganizing all the state so that there's no duplication. And that should stop a lot of our issues, like copying arrays being slow and so on and so forth.
Cool.
Yeah, so do it in little baby steps, basically, and we can get a lot more performance first. And then we can add more features as well.
Yep, cool. And so for some context there too, before we open sourced, the space object refactor is one of the biggest that we were like, oh, we got to get this done because it opens the door to so many things like object parenting / grouping and many others. We just decided to open source first for time reasons because it made a lot of sense. But yeah, this is definitely something that's going to be very key going forward. We'll probably need to, I don't know if it'd be helpful to add more details here, Gordon, but I just kind of put, you already added some here. This is you. Cool. Sounds good. And then how come that wouldn't fully allow for object parenting / grouping? What else would be required there?
We'd still have to refactor like all of space object as well. Because what I'm thinking of doing is doing like a light version of the space object refactor so that we just move all the state into the right place first. That should be fairly straightforward and that won't take long. And getting that working will be a very small change. But the full space object refactor, we had planned on like making types and stuff, and that won't be part of it. I think that if we want to do that, we can, but I feel like the performance fixes should be focused on first so we can get the load time down. I've improved things like caching and stuff, but I'd like to improve the way we instance objects in the world so that we're not duplicating the state first before we tackle like adding a feature to that, because it might need a different format for performance rather than for a feature. So you're better to do performance first for the thing we're trying to get done initially, and then we should add the parenting on top of that. Because in theory, you can take one of two paths. You can do the full refactor, or you can just add the feature into the existing space object after reorganizing the state. Or you can rewrite a lot of space object to add the same feature, which I feel like the first one makes more sense than the second. Considering a lot of things are working quite well now. If we get the join time down, yes, the code's not 100% clean, but we get the functionality quicker for parenting. I feel like that makes more sense. Because before we were trying to target like a big goal of refactoring everything, which I feel like is dangerous because we'll break a lot of things for very little gain and very little features. Even though from a technical perspective, it's more correct to do the massive code changes and make it nice and clean and stuff.
Definitely.
We should do in baby steps and like small changes as possible.
Yep, totally agree. And also for some of the stuff we've been mentioning as far as priorities, I updated our mirror roadmap, which I'll link in our chat here. And so we have some still urgent stuff that we mentioned we're working on as far as like the long join time and moving stuff uh, CI/CD over from the closed source repo onto open source. And then from that, you'll see a lot of the stuff that we're discussing is high right after that. So like the space object refactor, object parenting and grouping, the local host P2P multiplayer, GD script in world. This is actually on the latest dev as well, in case you want to try that out. Aaron Frank has done some awesome work there, and we were showcasing it at GDC as well. There's a video of that on our YouTube. But yeah, so always check our roadmap. We'll be keeping this more up to date as we go. Anonymous user login has been a big one too, where you don't want to have to be able to create an account right away. And this also, again, reduce more friction so that you can just download the app and start working on a space right away without really thinking about it much. It just kind of works. That's the goal, is to just work. One small thing too, we did some stuff in the back end with the migration. This is a preview of our marketplace, by the way, but everything that was getting uploaded would be, the title of the asset would be ending in PNG, GLB, JPEG, whatever it was, which is really obnoxious. So we ran a migration on dev that removes a lot of that. Thank you, Kirill. And that'll be coming in on our prod deploy for the itch app and everything else too, once that's up. Also on the marketplace side, one thing we're scoping out too, because we got a lot of requests, were for a way to, when you sell something, to not just, or to like add the itch type selection of, okay, this is available for $0 or donate. And so that's something we're looking at as well. We might have to make some variations to our Stripe setup, but that's okay. That's a note we're working on, so you can have the choose whether you want to actually make sure it's sold, or you can just allow people to donate out of their goodwill. So that's coming as well. We got a question from Pietro.
Will the GD script writing live in the world be in the next itch.io app?
The question was, will the GD script be in the next itch.io app? We're shipping everything that's going to be in the open source code onto itch for the most part. So I believe so. But Gordon, have you taken a look at that? I could be wrong.
I believe we'll just do it. There's no reason not to. There might be like security issues to fix later on. If there's anything major, we'll just patch it out after. And we'll have deployments working by that point, so making small changes like, oh, we need to urgently fix a small bug, will be very easily doable. Yeah, that was one of the annoying parts about when we open source, was like half of our CI stuff had to just be ported to the open source repo, and I really wish it was just like a copy paste job, but it really wasn't. Last night I did so much refactoring to get it working, but once that's working fully, we'll be able to just deploy the app whenever we want, like even weekly to bi-weekly, or even every few days, depending on how stable the app is. But we have to go through QA, so we can't do it every few days, but if there is an emergency hotfix, we can make it quickly. Yeah, I don't see any issues with that though. It'll be really good.
Cool.
Could the itch.io app have the like dev button or like dev version that is automatically uploaded every day or something like that?
Yes, similarly the question, you'll hear it on the recording, but could we get the latest release just automatically patched on itch.io? Yes, same itch there for QA reasons. I mean, potentially we wouldn't put it on itch though, probably just the latest release they can get from GitHub, which we're already doing itch in a sense. That would make sense as well, but it's kind of same thing with Godot or others, where if you download the latest, it'll have some of the latest stuff we just merged in, but it could have bugs as well. So that's why we're kind of hesitant to put it like the absolute latest on itch. Good question.
Yeah, I'm not against making the dev version available. The only caveat is the database that it uses. We'd have to make sure it used the production database as well, and that could cause some serious incompatibilities.
Yeah.
So it might be better to leave the prod app as the staple app and have another branch maybe in future that's available on itch, like we used to have for internal development. Maybe a staging environment. I mean, a lot of big games, what they do is they have, like EVE Online, for example, probably not like the same category as us, but what they did was they had a staging server. It doesn't have the same database or anything, but people can use it for testing the latest update, and it's always the latest change. So it may or may not work. We could do that, but we couldn't have it connected to prod, unfortunately. So we'd have to sort of state, hey, this is going to be a different version. You might not have the same content on A and B, which can get a bit hairy because you have to wipe changes and stuff fairly regularly from the staging branch. So from that perspective, it might not be good to advertise another client.
Yeah, I'd kind of prefer to keep it simple for now. And if you want to do
Yeah,
an
me too.
environment or something, you can do it yourself just with the open source code.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. On the back end, Kira, was there anything you wanted to add?
Like, so I think I can't add anything about what you were talking. Like, I can say just what we need to finish if you want. From my side.
Yeah, I know the.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, from my side, like, I need to finish the transferring of the code to Mirror Official, complete CI/CD for Mirror Official, and rework the deploy so that it takes the code from the Mirror Official repository. And I need to finish migration to Klaviyo. And yeah, there is some more stuff we can discuss later. And yeah, that's what we need to finish from my side. And regards to like assets you were showing, like so I already merged the finished pull requests and it unblocked Tarun, so he's able to finish it completely. So yeah, that's pretty much all.
Awesome, good stuff. And so for some context there too, we've kind of dubbed the itch release Mirror Official because we have the open source code, then we have the official app that's up on itch, and that'll eventually be on Epic Games and or Steam. So that's what Kira was referring to there. And then a lot of the backend stuff still with Stripe and whatnot has been focused on getting the marketplace out, as I just showed you. So still working away on that, but we want to get that out there as soon as possible. Cool. So that's a lot of the high level stuff. Any other questions? Pietro, I saw you were typing something. I may have missed it. Looks like the message disappeared. Happy to answer anything else if that'd be helpful. But no worries if not, of course. Okay, one sec. Playing that.
I am driving and I'm trying to make messages when I'm driving, but it's not the best practice. So just think about that.
Oh, Pietro said he's driving. It's kind of hard to make messages there. All good. All right, Gordo, you got anything else? We good?
I think we're good, unless anyone's got any feature requests or anything.
Cool. Yep, sounds good.
As possible, because people were asking about their first contributions, and we should probably get something for them. We should make some issues on the tracker that are like good first issues, something that's not too hard to fix, and we don't necessarily want to do ourselves, and get them started out, and then we can trust them with the harder stuff later on.
Yeah, I totally agree. I did create a label. Glad you brought that up for good first issue. Yeah, that's right here. And some of these are, yeah, it's kind of hard to say exactly what is a good first issue because a lot depends on your Godot experience versus your web experience versus fill in the blank. So I did mark this one, the saving screenshots to my assets instead of local disk. So that could be a good one. But yeah, if you see any others that are good for this issue, happy to note that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I actually couldn't, when I was asked about it the other day, I couldn't think of any because all the stuff that we've got that was kind of low hanging, easy fruit was actually fairly complex, especially when you're introducing someone. So I'd prefer they did like a simple task, like doing the asset saving first before they did anything advanced, if that makes sense. Not trying to be rude, but like it'd probably be better. I guess I would love if someone could just fix the metal renderer for us, but I don't think they'll do that. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm wrong.
And
That'd be
write
nice though.
you while they're at it.
Yeah, just fix it so that it's not horrible on Apple. Because I really wish Apple worked. Like I feel like we optimize, we get the space object refactor done. Apple should just work. It'd be really nice to get them as a platform, and maybe like some more, like maybe some VR headsets should be supported as well, like the standalone ones.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And we should improve our VR controls as well.
Yep, that's on the docket for us.
We still have to do the P2P multiplayer though, so I guess that comes after optimizations. So
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, let's chat more about that shortly. One more
Cool.
quick voice question from Pietro. One second.
Oh yeah, I got idea or like a question. Will there be game rating thingy where developers can say what's their like game rating? Because some people might want to make games that are not for people under a certain age.
Oh, good question. So Pietro's question, I'm not sure if it came through on, it'll come through on the video, was will there be game ratings? So like if it's, I have to be 17 or something like that. We haven't really planned for that. We can definitely consider it though. The plan has always been, we will like terms of service need to be 17 or 18, whatever is considered adult in your country. Not out of like, we're not an adult platform. So we're not allowing not safe for work stuff anyway, regardless of what that is. But yeah, because we don't want to. Yeah, like I was actually talking with the original Second Life team, and they dealt with some issues with that back in the day, and it just was a massive mess. And so, not really a path I want to go down. But point is, even on like the say like Halo is rated M, for example, versus Fortnite, which is teenager. TBD, open to considering it, but I'm not sure it's something we necessarily need right away or soon. That's my scattered answer for you. Yeah, Roblox had some issues with that too. I'd rather just say no adult content.
Yeah, Steam sort of started allowing it after a decade and a half, and then it's still an absolute minefield for them legally because they're based in the States.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to comply with the laws there, as far as I know. Steam had to jump through a lot of legal hoops to the point where they even have to review and manually edit the search for the adult content, say, hey, this is okay for it to appear. Like they actually have to pay someone to manually add games to their search, because if you index the adult content in your search and it randomly appears to someone who's not got that content and is not correctly tagged, you're liable as a business, not just the person who uploaded it. It's like if the only way you could even consider it is if it was a completely separate app that required like some kind of basic check, like are you an adult? But yeah, that's for someone else to do. This is open source for a reason. They can go do that themselves in their own ecosystem without our stuff.
Exactly.
If they really want to.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want with the open source code. I'd rather just the platform not be known for adult content. That's not the plan. So
Yeah, exactly. Not a good thing to be associated with currently in the gaming industry.
yeah, but good to have a clear path on. Awesome. Zinyara, totally agree. Yeah, we'll have moderation for sure. We'll make sure that is. Yeah, we're not at the stage where we will have stuff like that just yet, but yeah, moderation will be very important in the future. Awesome. Cool. Zinar said, great job, you guys. Glad you're still working out everything. Thank you. Yeah, Zinar, I've seen you in the Discord for quite some time, so appreciate you sticking around and hopping back in. Good to have you. I still see some people typing. Otherwise, we will get rolling. But yeah, of course, stay hanging out on our Discord. We're getting a lot of good questions, and always open to your suggestions. If you see bugs, thanks for taking a look at those, both from just finding them, but if you ever want to take a stab at fixing bugs, there's always incredibly appreciated.
Pietro makes a very good point. Maybe we should have something to detect the content.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
there's some APIs that can help us with that. That'll be probably eliminate.
That'd be good.
Plus. All right, sounds good. Well, thanks everyone. Good to chat. And so we'll be doing this every Thursday at 8 a.m. PT. And yeah, so thank you. Hope you all have a great week. See you around.